Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all safe and well. Connected up, all the electronics in the cockpit out of the way. There we are, that's what it'll be like. I'm quite happy with that. There aren't any pilots in it anyway, so you don't need to see through it. Right, before we move on, a very serious thing. The orange stabilizer here is in the same orientation as it was in the Hurricane I took it out from. So the actual writing, which is the top of the stabilizer, is in fact pointing down towards the ground. And it was on the Hurricane and it is on this. So it's the same orientation. The other thing, orientation wise, is that it's in the same direction. So these white leads were coming forward towards the nose of the Hurricane. So apart from it being much lower down in the Hurricane, it is in exactly the same orientation. Now I've done that on the basis that someone who watches my videos left a comment saying their plane stabilizer doesn't work properly. And we went through some exchange of texts and messages. And it turned out that at the factory, someone had installed that stabilizer with the text pointing upwards into the canopy. And after a lot of to and fro-in, that gentleman ended up taking it off, inverting it so the text was pointing down to the ground, refitting it, and everything seemed to work. So I think the orientation is very important. I've got no grounds to confirm that apart from that event, but I thought play safe and keep it same orientation, and that's exactly what I've done there. So that's all working. I've tested that out, and it's on a switch on channel 5. That's why you need a 6-channel receiver. I think it was a good solution to quite a difficult problem. There's just no space in there. I do not know how anyone could get a receiver and the batteries in that compartment. I just couldn't do it. I'll connect everything up, sort out the centre of gravity, then come back and we'll go through what I've had to do. One other thing I'd like to point out at this stage, it's the ground clearance between the end of the prop is minuscule. It's a bit frightening. But on a grass strip, very close. Let me move it and see if I can zoom in on that ground clearance to give you some idea. It's about 11 millimeters, or half an inch. Half an inch ground clearance on the prop. Sounds a lot, but you take a look at it, it isn't. I'll have to see. I might hand launch it, but we're not at that stage yet. You join me just as I'm finishing putting on the final touches. What have I done is I've connected up the rudder and the elevator, and I've put some fuel tubing to hold the clevises closed. They're all adjusted. I haven't done it on the ailerons yet, I've still got to do that. Under this canopy, which you've seen, but basically what I've now done, I know it all works. I've put hot glue on both sides of the stabilizer, so that's not going to move anywhere. I put hot glue both sides of the receiver, and I can actually pick the plane up by holding the receiver, so that's nice in place. If you remember, I said this is an AR620 antennaless receiver, and it's one of the new Spectrum ones where the bind is just push that switch. So what I have done is I have drilled a hole in the canopy at the top, which is good for venting anyway. I'm about to glue that back on there like that. And when I want to bind, if you listen carefully, just goes straight down onto the bind button. I've still got to add the Velcro in the front here, but this is now just the battery bay. That's all it is. Now I've got this set up for 3 types of batteries, would you believe it? So the recommended battery for it is this 1000 milliamp 2S. And once it's got Velcro on it, of course, that will sit in there just like that. Really nice and easy. So I've also set this up so I can take my 3S 1000 milliamp batteries. These are the ones I use on the Sky Raider. And this fits in nicely. It's a bit fatter, a bit thicker, but it fits in nicely. The other battery that will work on it is this one, which is a Nanotech 850 milliamp 3S. The discharge rate is perfectly adequate. This I use in the Hawker Hurricane, the Tempest, the Mustang and the Kinetic. That tiny little 800mm glider, powered glider. So I've got a lot of these. And this will also fit, once I've got the Velcro in, it will fit in the front like that. So I've got a choice of batteries I can use, and believe it or not, turn this over, I can achieve all of that, and I've only had to add 25 grams of weight in the tail. This is iron, not lead. But it would needed to go on because it was nose heavy, significantly nose heavy. And as you can see, even with that lead in its tail, it is still sitting perfectly happily on its nose wheel. But I can do that now. Tip it the other way and it comes up, and the nose wheel does not come back down. I'll stick the big battery in. Let me power it up. So that little dance it does means the stabiliser is sorting itself out. If we zoom on to the stabiliser, just so you can see I have an indication here.
AS3X mode.
So it just makes it feel and fly better when it's in poor weather conditions.
Stability mode.
Now stability mode or beginner mode, try to bank too far, it will try and correct it. If you let go of the sticks, it will go into level flight. Now we have to blip the throttle a bit.
Throttle cut off.
There we are.
Throttle cut on. AS3X mode.
Just correct little bits of wind and stuff like that. So you can hear the servos. And you can't see it, but I can see it from here. If I do this way, this one comes up, trying to make it come back here. But they're instant. They move and go back to their normal positions once stability is gained. So as it's blown around, it'll be trying to counteract it. And that is the lowest mode you can have.
Stability mode.
This is beginner mode. This means that if you try and bank too far to the left and right, it will always try and correct. It tries to fly straight and level all the time. And that is easily demonstrated. Because if I bank far over to the right, you can see this aileron's come up and it's staying up because it's trying to make the plane come back this way on the level. Same as if I go up too much. See, the elevator is trying to put down elevator to bring it down again on the level. And the rudder's the same. If I yaw, Now I can't fly in that mode. I just don't feel I've got enough control. I do take off in that mode and I do land in that mode if the weather's particularly windy. But apart from that, once I'm flying,
AS3X mode.
that's the mode I use. So this will of course be glued on there. Canopy on. Just put that down there. Like that. Stick this over. There she is. That's ready to go. That is absolutely ready to go. And the C of G on this, if I can get down low enough to show you. Well, the canopy's come off, but there you are. Slightly nose heavy at 57. So it's at 57 millimeters from the root leading edge. With a 3S battery in it. Painted the bomb silver. And it is quite a nice looking aircraft. So thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay well. Have a good Christmas. Cheers.